Adidas Terrex Agravic Speed Ultra 2. Real talk, real specs out on the trails. 10.1 ounces, 286 grams in my US 10. Version 1 tipped the scales at 9.5 ounces, 270 grams. Yes, that is indeed a 0.6 ounce weight gain from version 1 to version 2 here. Yes, there are some noticeable updates to this version 2, some of which may or may not contribute to that weight gain. I'm gonna get into that in a moment. But first, let's talk stack. Adidas reports a 44-36 8mm drop specified stack height, but the closest I could get to that is 38mm manually measured at the heel. Now, the reason I say the closest I could get is not because I'm trying to match their specified stack height. It's just really difficult shoe to measure at the heel. Probably the shoe with the most extreme upward heel tilt or swoop under the base of the shoe of any other trail shoe on the market. As I was measuring, I had to kind of rock the tail of the shoe back and forth to try to find at least my best guess or estimate as to where the middle of your heel would be. But even then, where your heel is in the shoe, I find that quite far back compared to where your actual heel would land on the ground, you know, down hills and steep descents notwithstanding. This is still a shoe that wants you forward leaning, wants you up on the forefoot. So I did find that 38mm measurement a little bit forward of where I would typically take my heel measurement in other shoes. Honestly, I think that measuring a heel stack in this shoe really doesn't even make much sense. Out on the run here today, the balance of cushion, in fact, the balance of the overall weight of the shoe is clearly forward of the midpoint of the shoe. So just to give you a little bit of context here, this is actually my first run in these shoes. I ran 35 miles over the weekend in the Hoka Speedgoat 7, less than 24 hours before this run today. Go on. Thanks. Have a good one. You too. I also just sat in the backyard, filmed a little close-up session. Hopefully you've seen both of those videos by the time you're seeing this. Also, by the time you're seeing this, I will have more test miles in this shoe on top of today's run, probably about 8 or 10 here today in this video. I really didn't have it in mind that I was actually gonna run in this shoe today. I talked about in that close-up video shoes that potentially work better as daily training shoes. Of course, Speedgoat 7, also really like the Prodigio Pro, but I talked about wanting a little bit of softness underfoot for those days after the long run or the workout. I had the Agravic TT there on the table, also Nike ACG Ultrafly Trail. I was more or less alluding to the fact that perhaps those last two there would not be the best pick for, say, the day after workout or long run when I want to be a little easier on the feet. The TT and the Ultrafly Trail, just quite stiff shoes, especially around the middle of the foot, and that typically puts a little strain on my feet on the run. I really want to work out some longer test miles in that Ultrafly, especially to see if that loosens up. But I was thinking of running in the Kip Summit Max today, just as kind of a recovery kind of day. But then I did slip these on. The softness was really quite noticeable, especially up front, under the forefoot, and even a little further back towards the middle of the shoe. Boy, am I glad that I picked these up off the shelf for today's run. They are really hitting the spot as far as that cushion, and actually I'm feeling quite quick on today's run. Normally feel a little sluggish after a long run like that. Although in the Speedgoat 7, my feet are perfectly fine. Legs perhaps a little weary just from running that type of mileage, but comfort underfoot is great in that Speedgoat 7, and my feet are in perfectly fine shape. Perhaps a reason why I'm well enough today running in a super shoe like this. So today's run again is more of a feel out run, although I am quite surprised here at how quick I feel on the run today and how comfortable I feel on the run after this big weekend of miles for me. But coming back to the main area of, say, consternation regarding the shoe, the weight. I didn't actually check what the spec weight was before heading out on this run, but according to some out in the interwebs, apparently the actual weight that some reviewers are either reporting or not reporting, that actual weight is being found to be a little bit higher than the reported weight. I'm putting up my actual measurements here again for reference. I do that in all of my videos, and I do note it if there is a significant difference, which kind of the case here, I'd say. Really just first impressions out here today. Really great so far, by the way. I'm gonna zip through some of the contributing factors I think are leading to that weight gain or not. Again, I'll, as usual, have a fuller review and comparisons. Also, again, I've got more miles in this shoe as of the time you are watching this, so feel free to fire away down in the comments. I will answer everything with my most up-to-date thoughts, of course. Outsole is typically the biggest contributing factor when it comes to weight gain. They do up that a little bit here. Version 1 did have 2.5/3.5 millimeter lugs. This one ups it to 3/4, 3 on the inside, 4 along the outer edges. So not a huge increase, but again, we're talking a 0.6 ounce difference here between V1 and V2, and that 0.5 mil throughout the base of the outsole is gonna probably take up a big chunk of that weight gain. And am I saving perhaps the best update for last here? It's the heel of the shoe. I am loving the improved heel. They've added more bolstering along the interior. It is a significant upgrade from version 1. I'm talking 180-degree turnaround here. The upper as a whole generally does have more accurate sizing in my US 10 here, but I'll get to that in later reviews. For now, I just want to emphasize the heel hold is, I would say, immaculate, really great in this shoe, and that is a major update considering I would say version 1 was probably one of the poorest heel holds of not just plated or energy rod type super shoes on the market, any trail shoe. It was just big problems holding the heel down in that shoe. I am in fact using regular lacing in this shoe, not even lace locking. I've talked about doing some type of crazy convoluted lacing techniques. I know David Roche had his own personal setup with that. I'm not sure if we ended up agreeing on the same type. Not that we had discussions about it, but I definitely did test out some non-standard lace locking techniques on version 1 to get to really just a barely adequate level of heel hold. None of that at all here. Regular, good old first eyelet lacing here. No problems at all. The upper hasn't even loosened up on me. I'm probably about 7 or 8 miles right now. It feels just as snug and secure as when I started out on this run. Last mention here about the midsole foam. Light Strike Pro fully under the midsole here. I have heard it has been softened up. I haven't had the shoe on foot side by side with version 1 just yet, so that could also be a contributing factor, possibly to a little bit of that weight gain, a little portion of that 0.6 ounce weight gain there, but it does feel soft on the run. Again, have to have them side by side to really feel how much of a difference it is. Version 1 was still quite soft underfoot and notably soft compared to many or most trail shoes under the forefoot. That's a wrap on first impressions. Again, I'll have more thoughts by the time you're watching this, more miles in the shoe, but I'll leave you with some final thoughts on the fit and sizing. They have updated the fit significantly. I talked about the much improved, drastically improved heel hold here. Also, sizing wise, if you found version 1 a little bit long, a little bit oddly roomy in certain areas, they did tighten that up a bit. So if you were, say, on the side of being a little larger in your V1 size, whatever that may be, a little loose in certain areas, go with the same size in this version 2, and you'll have a much better and more secure fit here. Thank you for tuning in once again to Humble Running. Please like and subscribe. Check out the description for related links. Also check out the website. Sign up for my newsletter. Don't miss any videos, content, or discount codes. Don't want to miss those. I'll see you out on the trail next time.